Sunday, wife, mother, CEO.
I struggle with not having as much time with my kids.
When this boss goes undercover.
If you've seen Sunday night's Undercover Boss, then my guest today needs no introduction, but just in case we'll supply one anyway. She is Kim Schaefer, CEO of Great Wolf Resorts and one of the executives who goes undercover in Undercover Boss. Welcome to BNET, Kim.
Thank you.
Now, what surprised you most about going undercover at your company?
We build these big, beautiful resorts with lots of entertainment options, and really what it comes down to is the interaction between the employees and the guests. That's what makes the experience.
So it was a pleasant surprise.
A very pleasant surprise.
There were 4 employees who were featured on the show. Of your interactions with them, which stuck with you the most?
I think each of them touched me in a different way, but I related, especially to Deanna and to Jackie, working moms, struggling to balance that family time with their careers and what they had to do for their jobs. But I think each of them, for me, what stuck with me is how dedicated they were to the company.
How would you characterize yourself as a manager? Are you hands-on, consensus-seeking? What would you say?
Well, I think that I love consensus. I love the whole idea of teamwork, at least. I mean, ultimately, somebody has to make the decision, and so I don't have a problem with that. But I love the idea of the teamwork. I love getting input. What I've kind of found that, really over the last 2 years is, the economy tightens and you're really trying to figure out how to make sure you can manage your company effectively. We retreat a little bit and you keep that circle a little bit closer to you as to making the decisions because you want to be timely and you want to be efficient in making those decisions. What this show did for me was it opened my eyes and reminded me of the fact that we have 4,000 people who have a voice and can participate at different levels within how we make policies and procedures, how we get people involved in the company. That was a nice reminder for me.
You have the unusual experience of watching yourself do your job on TV, watching yourself manage, sort of like people watching themselves practice their golf swing.
Right.
Would you change anything from having seen yourself?
Well, going undercover, what I found is that I had to do a lot more listening. I wasn't in charge. So listening and conversing with the employees and getting to know them became a huge motivator for me. I was very inspired by their stories and what makes them unique and special. And then I was learning from them on how to do the task at hand. So I think that listening has to be a little bit more of that reminder of how we interact every single day. Something I can take back as a CEO.
In the show, you mentioned that one of the things you wanted to change as a result of going undercover was to streamline the check-in process. Were there other changes that you thought of later or that you decided to make?
When I got back, I was really, kind of inspired by what I went through, and a lot of my conversations with the senior management team revolved around how do we get people more engaged? How do we make sure that as we've grown from this small company and we really relied on the employees helping us make decisions, how do we get back some of that small company feeling and involvement in everything that we do? So how do we involve the employees in the front desk check-in process? Let them help us answer the questions rather than trying to figure out at corporate and maybe having it slip in the priority level.
Were those changes hard to sell to your senior team?
They're not hard to sell, and I think most of what we see is one of those ahas, those reminders to say, of course it makes sense. We just know that daily life gets in the way and the tasks and the priorities that are right in front of you. So, maybe sometimes you just need that little kick to remind yourself that there's 4,000 people who can help us make those decisions.
Have you been able to keep up with the employees you interacted with?
I have. They're a part of my life now because I just feel like I connected to them, and what I want to do is figure out how do I continue to meet more of those people within our company, so when I go to visit a resort, that it's not just about the management team and saying hi to people. It's finding that time to sit down and get to know people on a different level.
That's great. Kim, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. Be sure to come back to BNET next week to meet the next Undercover Boss.